All right, well, that was the quick little video that I made. I don't even know if I like it, to be honest with you. I just posted it to YouTube right before we came on. I'm not even sure I'm going to leave it up. I'm obsessed with it lately. I'm obsessed with the need for us to wake up the masses. And we're not going to do it using the methods and strategies that we're currently using. Mocking people is never going to bring them around to being open to new ideas, and especially frightening new ideas. You know, the truth of what's going on around us is not a comfortable truth. And it's an incomplete truth, which is also unfortunate, because that makes it not enough for some people. But I look at it kind of like how I look at being a Christian. You don't need to be a Christian for this analogy, but just give me a second. So as a Christian, I feel like my purpose isn't to beat you over the head with God. I don't even think that's what Jesus did. Hello, Steve. I think my purpose as a Christian is to just make sure that you're aware of it, you know? So I feel like that's the same as what I was saying with being awoke. I just want to make sure people are aware. You know, you plant the seed, like I said in the video. You can't force feed somebody to be awake. You can't force feed information into somebody's head, because like I said, cognitive dissonance is a real thing. And, you know, once somebody's triggered, they're not even listening to you anymore. Their brain is defending itself. They're finding ways to deal with the unacceptable information that you're giving them, and really just thinking of a retort for when you finish talking. That's all that's going on. Hey, now that a couple people that are in the know are here, why is everybody migrating away from Facebook? I noticed Tim Black, Claudia Stauber, a couple other people, higher profile independent names, are leaving Facebook as a platform. Is that true? I know the Tim Black thing is true. And I saw Claudia Stauber post that she was leaving Facebook. Hey, Paul. Good, we got a little group coming in. Yeah, hit them like buttons. I like seeing that. I cannot tell you how much I am like a little child, and I love seeing the likes go up and down the screen. It's one of my favorite things. I'm that type of person that hits try me on every toy in the toy aisle. I hit the try me buttons. That's me. But no, the video we watched tonight for Paul and those of us just joining us was on the Great Awakening and how I think we need to have a Great Awakening. You know, it's nice that we have a lot of people that are aware. We've had a great, you know, a lot of people would say, Sean, we've had a Great Awakening. Well, we have. There's a large number of people awake, a lot more people than I have seen in my lifetime, I'd have to say. It seems to be coming at a faster pace now, but it's still not enough. You know what I mean? We need to get the average person at least awake to the bullshit that they're watching and considering to be news. The stuff that they've been convinced is news. They need to understand that that is propaganda, that is paid for propaganda. It's government propaganda, and it's legal. It's legal to propagandize the American people, and that was made legal by Obama. But it was in the works. They've been using propaganda against the American people long before they made it legal. Look into Operation Mockingbird. That was when the CIA first at least admits that they had infiltrated the media. A lot of people in the media have CIA roots and ties. Like Anderson Cooper was an intern for the CIA. And, you know, a lot of people say once you're in the CIA in any form, way, shape, or form, you're always in the CIA. So there's that. You know, I don't know. I know it's odd. You know, that connection is weird. Whether or not Anderson Cooper still answers to anybody or has handlers in the CIA, who am I to say? The only thing is the opportunity is there. It's believable. You know, it's frustrating that, I guess the people that bother me the most, it's all frustrating. Everyone that's asleep is frustrating, because as someone that's aware and awake to it all, I know for me, it starts to seem like we're on a ticking clock and we're running out of time. Don't wake up, it's going to be too late. There won't be any point to waking up at all. Like, waking up will be a nightmare. Being woke is already scary. So, you know, the more hope you lose in whether or not humanity is going to wake up, the scarier it gets. It's not comfortable being awake. I understand staying asleep. And that's only when staying asleep is a choice. Sometimes staying asleep is not a choice. We also need to remember, like I said in the video, that the propaganda and brainwashing and the indoctrination that we've all been subjected to is extremely powerful. And we're up against all of that every time we try to break through someone's established reality. And when you're doing that, you're going to trigger their cognitive dissonance, and they're going to have to come to it on their own. So all you can really do is guide them, and it's not going to do any good to mock them. I've never understood that anyway, and Facebook seems to be a place where that just runs rampant. When somebody disagrees with you or has a differing opinion, they are brutal to you. You would never speak to somebody in real life the way that you speak to them on Facebook. I see it all the time, and I don't understand it. It's crazy. All right, well, let me just let you guys know, if you're new to this show, this is a participation show. So comment anything you want to talk about. I've got a few things written down, but the longer the show, the more comments we get, the longer the show will be. So for those of you just joining the show, this is Conspiracy Theories and Chill. I am Sean Yankee, your host and conspiracy theorist extraordinaire. And we're just hanging out talking about conspiracies. We watched a video that I made for you guys a little while ago, and I'm going to post the link to that video on YouTube. And as always, my homework assignment for my viewers is to share the YouTube video. I want to grow my YouTube channel, and I want to increase my YouTube views. One of my goals for myself in this endeavor as setting out and making these videos and doing these shows is to get my YouTube channel to 1,000 subscribers. Right now I'm under 200, so I got a while to go. So check me out on YouTube, Me on Things and Stuff. Share my YouTube channel, share my YouTube videos. That's a great way to help me. Another way that you can contribute to our shows, and this would be extremely cool of you too, is to contribute to us on Patreon, which is a subscription paid service where you donate like $1 a month or $5 or $10 or whatever you feel like donating to the show here to help us improve and get better equipment and do a better job providing you with entertainment if you're enjoying it. So you can do that as well by contributing to us on Patreon. I'm sorry, I got distracted by my phone. How often can people say that? We are such slaves to these phones. Anyways, I got distracted by you guys because I was trying to pay attention to what you were saying. Because I care. So anyways, I covered the Patreon thing, and then just share the show. If you don't want to contribute, or you can't, because I'm poor. I understand being poor. I like free things. And this show is always going to be free. I'll always keep my content free, and do my fundraising through things like Patreon, PayPal, GoFundMe. Like if I ever want to do like something like Philly happens again and I want to go, I might do a GoFundMe, and if I raise the money, I'll go. But that's the way I want to do raising money for this kind of thing. I don't want to become beholden to somebody else, like have to have a sponsor or someone I answer to. I'd just rather do it crowdfunded, you know? All right, let's see. Paul brought up the suspicious packages that people got in the mail. Well, yeah, in the mail. George Soros, who everyone knows as a regular common denominator in a lot of conspiracy theories. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, whoever, the Clintons, and former President Barack Obama all got explosive packages, supposedly explosive packages. The only one they've really released details about is the one at George Soros's residence. And hold on, I'll be right back. Sorry, I had to respond to that text. I apologize for that. Where was I? That's the challenge. Oh, the suspicious packages. So George Soros, the Clintons, and Barack Obama all got these suspicious explosive packages. And they detonated one of them, George Soros's, and say it would have killed whoever had opened it, and that the detonator worked and all that. It was a functioning bomb. But the Secret Service intercepted the two for Clinton and Obama. So all we really know is what the news has told us. But this is something I thought was interesting. Some of the YouTube channels I follow, the YouTubers are afraid of this story and feel like it's a trap. That covering it is a trap. That making conspiracies up about it and putting out videos on YouTube about the bombs is some kind of a trap. I don't really see how that would be, and I don't care. Like, you know, because they're going to shut this kind of speech down when they shut it down. They're already trying to, they're already in the process of doing it. We need to fight back. Like I said, with the Great Awakening, the point of that is we need numbers. We need unity. We need more people to understand what's going on so that we have the numbers to fight back against it. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked again. On these these packages, for one, from what I've seen, they didn't have any stamps on them. So they weren't sent through the mail. Well, they had stamps on them, postage stamps, but no, you know how the post office stamps your package. There was none of that on there. It hadn't gone through the post office is what I'm saying. The postal stamps, not postage stamps. But they weren't actually mailed. They were hand delivered. And I'm not exactly sure because there's conflicting reports on whether or not they all arrived around the same time or whether it was different days. But it recently, within good proximity to each other, because Soros's house and Clinton's house is only 15 minutes apart. You know, not that I have dinner there all the time. That's just what the media is reporting. Apparently, George Soros and Clinton live pretty close together. They probably hang out and have barbecues. I know they hang out and worship that big-ass Al Moloch up at Bohemian Grove. She's probably one of the only women allowed in the cloaks. Because Hillary is high up. They are establishment. So, you know, they're trying, what I've seen in the media is people blaming Trump supporters and people blaming Trump's speech against the Obamas, against Clinton, against people like Soros, and saying that Soros is funding this caravan of illegals, and all of that led to these bombs being sent to these people. And that seems odd for the media to make that reach, to say that, oh, it's got to be a Trump supporter, it's Trump's words that are doing this, when those particular people are filthy and have blood all over their hands. There's many people that would have many reasons to send or want to cause harm to George Soros or Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton for that instance, or Barack Obama. There's many reasons why someone would want to cause harm to those people. Those people have caused harm to a great number of people. but it also reeks of a psyop, of bullshit, of a false flag. You know, there was no intention of these bombs actually getting through. Every one of these people has intense security. You know, Hillary Clinton, or the Clintons, and Obama have Secret Service protection. The Secret Service found both of theirs. And then George Soros's private security found his. Nothing was intended to get to these targets. It was intended to get, the target it was intended to get to was the media and the public. And then I don't know what scapegoat they're going to get. I wonder if this will be like anthrax and you'll never really get an answer onto where it came from, or if it'll be where they'll actually have a patsy and pin it on somebody. I think that if you want to paint the Trump narrative, that's your only real way to do it. If you want to blame it on Trump and Trump's speech, you need yourself a good old boy terrorist to pin it on. But that's what I think about the fake bombs. And I don't know that they were fake. I know they say they detonated one. They may have been fake. I know that it reeks of a stage type of thing. And I think if a person really intended them harm, they would have done it in a better way. They wouldn't have tried to mail it into them. These aren't the kind of people you can attack in that way. They have people that screen their mail. And even the average person should know that these people have protection. You know, I don't think this was a serious intent to harm these people. It was a serious intent to use the belief that these people were going to be harmed on the American people by the weapons of mass deception, the mainstream media. Oh, man. Is that really all I've written down? How long we been talking? Only a half hour. You guys are going to need to comment. I don't have a lot of notes written down to talk about on the show. We don't want to have a half-hour show. No, but anybody got any more good leads on that Khashoggi story? The journalist that was killed in Saudi Arabia? If you have anything good on that, send it to me. Because more and more, the more I see on that, I believe he was a CIA agent. I don't know. Like actively. I know he has ties to the CIA and everybody knew that already, but I mean an active CIA agent. And I think he was in that consulate for other reasons than what we're being told. You know, I do believe he was dismembered in the way that they described, but it could have just been for his critique of the prince, the crown prince, right? He was very hard and objective to their practices and the way that they, hold on, Debo's here. He says divide, or whatever. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to assume your gender. Debo says divide and conquer, separate Saudi Arabia and Israel from the United States, and then they could easily be conquered. That's the other thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Saudi Arabia has a lot of control over us because our economy and our dollar depend on the petrodollar. And Saudi Arabia is one of the biggest suppliers of oil to the world. And they are on the petro. When you buy oil, you have to use the oil, the payment that is agreed upon through all the oil trading nations. And that currently is the petrodollar, which is the US dollar. You want to buy oil, you have to buy it with the US dollar. And Saudi Arabia is very pivotal in keeping it that way. All right. They're very pivotal in our control over oil, and more importantly, the way that you pay and purchase oil, way that you acquire oil. You need a US dollar to do that. And that is the petrodollar system. And if without a country like Saudi Arabia supporting that, other countries that were smaller that they have huge influence over wouldn't support it either, which they're already dropping out of it. People all over the world are dropping the dollar. And I don't know where the tipping point is, but I am positive that that's the way America as we know it will cease to exist, is the collapse of the dollar. I think that's the way that the shit, so to speak, will hit the fan. Will be the collapse of the dollar. And we'll be the last to know that it's happened. So, but yeah, that's what I was saying about Saudi Arabia. As Debo says, they have huge influence over us. Not as much as Israel. He was comparing it to Israel. Israel is basically our owners. They're not our owners. It's just there's a cabal that runs our world. Okay, they call themselves whatever they call themselves. I don't want to get stuck on labels. All right, but there's a cabal that runs our world. They're Luciferian, and they headquarter basically out of Israel. They believe and protect biblical holy places and seek them out and seek to control those areas because they believe that those areas have power. Now, whether you believe that or not isn't really of any concern, because these people that worship Moloch, they do believe in that. They do believe in Moloch. They do believe in demons. They do believe in Lucifer, and they do believe that they will defeat God when God returns. They believe in God as well. They just believe that God is the villain of the Bible and Lucifer is the hero. They look at it all from a different perspective, that Lucifer is the light bringer and he's trying to inform humanity. So he is the good guy of the Bible, and God is the deceiver, and he's the one that's actually the bad guy. God's lying to you and trying to keep wisdom from you and all of this. They agree with Satan. So it's not, I admit and acknowledge that there is a sect or a religion that refers to themselves as satanic, and they have a coloring book and they want to be, included in schools, and they want to have their statues at government buildings. I am not talking about that group of Satanists. I am talking about Luciferians, the type that believe in demons and believe in the power of evil. Debo says that's why Clintons and the Bushes took out Gaddafi, Saddam, and Hugo Chavez, because they wanted a gold-based economy. Well, we have a debt-based economy, but you're right. I mean, it's for control. All these wars are. Every war is about God, greed, oil, and drugs. So, and most things really are about God, greed, oil, and drugs, and how it affects each and everything. But it's about money, power, and influence. Is all wars. But yeah, Gaddafi, they dumped the dollar, and they also wanted but it was though Libya wanted a gold-based economy. They had a great, thriving economy. I'm not saying Gaddafi was great. I didn't live there. But I'm saying in a lot of ways, they had a better life than a lot of Americans do, on paper. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he wasn't a brutal dictator, as far as I could see. We overthrew them because they dropped the petrodollar, and they wanted to exchange their oil for gold. Same as Saddam Hussein did the same thing. And Venezuela is doing it now. So how long before Venezuela needs freedom? They're already pumping the brakes for that. And then Iran, that's been in the works forever. You can look up General Wesley Clark talking about that all the way back in 2000. 2002, maybe 2001, late 2001, 2002. In an interview, he talks about how right after 9/11, he was at the Pentagon and talking to some generals that he knew, and they laid out this whole plan that we were going to take out 7 countries in 5 years. And we've done most of them except Iran, and that's where it's supposed to finish up. This is a plan that's been in motion for a long time. There's no accident to what's going on in the Middle East. It was a pre-planned agenda. 9/11 was the false flag operation that put it into motion. And everything that's happened since was part of a already planned out agenda. You can trace it all the way back to Albert Pike and the Illuminati grand plan for the 3 world wars. We're in World War III already. We're well into it. World War III is a long war. And it's exactly what's going on. And it was planned out hundreds of years ago. World War I and World War II played out exactly the way they said it would. They pulled the strings. Of course it did. You know? And something that I see too much of is people that are aware that there are these powerful people, these evil people that pull the strings and have control over humanity, but don't feel like we can do anything about it. You have to, I at least, have to go down kicking and screaming. You want to tell me voting doesn't do anything? I want to tell you not enough people fucking vote. You know, you want to tell me protesting doesn't do anything? I will tell you not enough people protest. If we actually came together and used our numbers, we would be unstoppable. So don't try to sell me on that bullshit that voting doesn't work. They've just convinced you that it doesn't work, and that's why it doesn't work. If you would actually participate and become informed and do your part as an American and get out there and participate in democracy, it would work. They count on you not participating. They get away with what they get away with because of we don't participate, we don't pay attention, and we don't follow up when we do pay attention. When we catch them doing something, we don't follow up on it. When the news stops talking about it, we stop thinking about it. It just goes away. That's why they think we're stupid. Even though they know, deep down they know it's by design. And they've made it that way, where all you really know is what your little world is, and that's understandable, you know? You have your own bills, your own problems, your own things that need taken care of, your own loved ones, your own stories to pay attention to. A lot of times looking at the bigger picture is hard, so you leave that to the news, and you should be able to. But, as I said earlier, you don't have real news, you have propaganda. So if you're counting on that to inform you, then you're in for a hard time. Unfortunately, you've got to inform yourself, or you've got to find sources that you trust and get your information from there. But it's going to be independent. You're going to have to seek it out for yourself. And that's just the way it is. And they're trying to cut that out as well. So you need to defend that and support it. You know, whether that's through sharing it or whether it's through financially supporting it through things like Patreon and donating to shows, supporting independent media, doing that kind of thing. That's what we need to do. It's going to have to be grassroots. We're going to have to pull together, and it's got to be from the bottom up. It's got to be the little people standing up to the big, because there's way fewer of them. We are the many and they are the few. They've convinced us that we're weak, and that's a lie. But the longer we allow ourselves to believe that lie, the more true it becomes. It's true only because we believe it. Debo says the New World Order is the UN one world government. The Democrats are trying to destabilize America so that the UN can occupy. Debo, you want to co-host the show with me? That was dead on. A+ for Debo. Debo gets viewer of the day. You nailed it. Yeah, it's a lot of things. But yes, the UN is basically the world government in place already. Okay, the New World Order is not waiting for our consent for their plan. They're well into their plan. We're one of the last obstacles in that plan. The fall of America is part of their plan. America as we know it will cease to be before their plan comes to fruition. And that's one of the last pieces of their plan. So there's not a lot of time left for our way of life anyway. Who knows how long? Whether the string gets pulled when the dollar collapses or the string gets pulled whenever they want it to get pulled. Who knows when it'll be? A handful of people know, and they all gather and worship Moloch or whatever demon that they worship. They don't all worship the same ones, but they're all demonic. They all believe they get their power from demonic entities. And whether or not you're religious, you should take an interest in that. People with extreme power are. Maybe they know or have access to something that you don't. Something to think about. Or maybe they've just been so brainwashed over time by magicians like Aleister Crowley that they believe that there's power in evil. Whatever it is, they do. And that might be a mock ceremony, but I bet they do real ones. They're not going to do a real one right out in the open like that. But I bet there's real ones. That's the thing people don't get. You know, these people that control us, they don't view us as people. They don't have the same kind of feelings towards us. There's a name for us. We're goyim. We're nothing. We're just slaves. We're meant to serve our purpose, and they feel that there's far too many of us. If you go by their numbers, there's far too many of us by like 7 billion. They want there to be 500 million people on the planet. You know, basically just enough to serve them and serve their needs. They want to hit reset and wipe out about 7 billion of us. They have meetings about how to do it. How to get population down to a reasonable number of about 500 million people. Oh, Debo is my new favorite viewer. The Anunnaki are in control. I usually don't talk about this because I shy away from religious topics because it seems to turn people off. So, but I shouldn't do that. And no topic is off limits on this show. And this is just my personal belief. I believe that aliens are what we would call angels and demons. All of them. I don't believe there's any such thing as aliens. And if there is, they've never visited here. Just like we've never visited anywhere else. You know, including the moon. We've never been to the moon. I've gotten into that before. We'll get into it in a future episode. We can get into it tonight if you want to. We still got time. We've only been going we still got 15 minutes. But the Anunnaki, yeah, the fallen. If you don't know what Debo's talking about, the fallen ones. The ones that went down in the war with Satan, between Satan and God. When Satan and them were cast to earth, the fallen, the Anunnaki. They lead over us. Though that is who the elite worship, at least. So the very powerful people in the world worship the fallen. Mainly Lucifer, but also other demons. And they believe that they get power from these demons. And they perform rituals and ceremonies on us goyim who have no value to them as living beings. And except for our fear, which, you know, it sounds crazy, but they like to get people really scared and kill them and drink their blood because there's adrenaline in the blood. What's it called? Endochrome, something like that. These people are demonic and sick. And it's like Fight Club. You're part of the Illuminati or what? Again, whatever they call themselves. You don't speak about being in it. But wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know each other. But the Anunnaki are in control. He's right. The fallen lead this world. It's right there in the Bible. This is Satan's planet. Lucifer is in control of this planet until Jesus comes back. He already told you. That's why there's so much evil in the world, because it's under the influence of evil. Then you top that off with anytime you give anyone that much power and control and money, it's going to corrupt them. So greed will eat anybody up inside. I imagine I could even be subject to it. Who couldn't? Why would anybody be immune? Power corrupts. And what does they say? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. But I love that Debo made that comment, because I believe that too. I believe that these aliens, a lot of these alien crafts that people see, I believe that they do see them, but what I believe they are actual crafts that we have, that we've designed through the fallen's technology. What most people would refer to as alien technology. But like I said, I believe the fallen are what we refer to as aliens. And I believe one day they'll make a announcement. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but they will finally announce that, yes, we've made contact with alien life, and here's an alien. And they'll walk among us. We'll get there. They want, if you look at history and match it to the Bible matches up to history very well. For a book that a lot of people want to say is fiction, its prophecies match up very well. Now, you could say that, okay, that's because it's written in a language where you can kind of twist it, it's poetic, and it could mean different things. Or it could be that a group of very powerful people that are pulling the strings are guiding it to reflect big biblical prophecy. They want the stories in the Bible to play out the way it says it will. It's part of their plan as well. Satan and God are in a war over this planet, and Satan intends to win that war, and these elite are part of Satan's army, and they intend to win that war too. And you can tell me I sound crazy. I didn't say I believe this shit. I said they believe this shit. And that's a fact. Do you go to demonic rituals? They do. Have you ever seen the initiation for Skull and Bones? Do you know how many presidents we've had we had an election where there were 2 guys running for president that were Skull and Bones members. How many important people, judges and all that, are Skull and Bones members? Their ceremony, their induction ceremony, is one of the most demonic things I've ever seen. It looks like it's straight out of the movie Exorcist, like a deleted scene off the cutting room floor. They're very into demonic numerology. This is just a fact. You can deny it, you can turn a blind eye to it, but those in power are religious. You got to kind of wonder why that is. And I'm talking about real power, not the bullshit religious people like Ted Cruz, who say they're religious but do everything, or Paul Ryan, that do everything the opposite of what Jesus Christ is about. Those kind of people are not religious. They are hiding behind religion to try and make themselves seem like a good person. And not just your powerful people, your regular person that pretends to be a Christian or pretends to be religious, any religion, and a man of faith or woman of faith, and still does evil and still or doesn't do evil but turns a blind eye to it. That's just same thing as doing evil in their regular life. They don't have the practices or beliefs that they're pushing on you, and you're not supposed to push that stuff on people anyway. So if you're Christian, let me just tell you, you're going to reach a lot more people just by having behavior and influence on them, just by being around them, hanging out with them. That's what Jesus did. He didn't go around to people going, hey, guess what? You're going to hell because of blah, blah, blah. That's not effective. That's never going to work. All you look like is a judgmental prick when you do that. You want to talk to people, you got to come down and be on their level. You can't walk around feeling like you're better than everybody and you got some secret knowledge. And again, this show is not about religion tonight. Religion just happens to have come up a bunch of times. And religion is part of conspiracies as well. Religion's part of history. Why am I apologizing? Let's see. Debo's still here. Who else is here? We got like 3 people here. This is you guys as part of the show. We got about 10 minutes left. We can go longer. If you guys are commenting and you want to talk about more stuff, we'll go longer. So comment and like, let me know you're here. Share the show. Thanks for coming, by the way. But we'll go another 10 minutes. I got some stuff written down that we can talk about. So Elon Musk released another video about the dangers of AI. Now, he is either fear-mongering. Uh-oh. Hold on a second. I think I just crashed.